Good
Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey, get your eggs and bakey. Or if you like Danny over here, a zucchini pancake?
No, not today.
Not today, not this time.
No, I'm gonna chop the rest of the corned beef I have from last night. I'm gonna make some corned beef and hash.
Ooh. All right. Well, we'll get right into it for you guys with NFL news. Kyler Murray's addendum in contract for 4 hours of personal studying has been removed from his contract.
Yeah.
What was their bullshit reason for that?
Well, from what I read, they said it created too many distractions, and it was perceived in ways that was never intended. And they're super high, and their confidence is super high on Murray. The contract they gave him speaks volume of the confidence they have in him. Honestly, something smells fishy. Like, why include that in the first place? Like,
Yeah, and then to that, like, if you have the full faith and confidence in your quarterback, why is that even in the contract to begin with?
exactly.
You know what I mean? So that had to be put in that contract specifically for him because he doesn't study.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there is
just
something fishy there, but like, why put it then take it off?
so I
Because
seen I seen this tweet the other day where they were told where it was talking about this where it was a gif of of a young kid sitting there with a laptop in his hands, and it was supposed to be Kyler Murray, and like, oh yeah, this is what Kyler Murray thinks about studying for 4 hours. The kid looks at the tablet, and then just like, fuck this shit, fuck this shit. Like, I'm not studying. I'm like, yeah, I know you're not studying, suck ass motherfucker.
I mean, it made sense for the Cardinals because, like, if they, because they could track his progression on the lab on not the laptop on the tablet of how long he's on it personally.
Right.
Um, but other than that, he could probably just literally open up a tablet, click play on the video, and walk the fuck away. It'll still count like he's watching it. But it made sense for the Cardinals as in like, all right, if I could prove that you weren't studying, I can recoup 100 million back from the contract. But then they take it away. It's like you said, something fishy's going on. What are you trying to tell us here?
Yeah.
Because at first, when it was like open to the world of like, the addendum of the 4 hours of personal study time, it was like, so Kyler doesn't study at all. That's what I took from it. I took like, oh, he just don't give a shit. He's pulling a Michael Vick.
And then they took it out of the and they pulled it out of the contract like 3 or 4 hours before Murray went up and did like an interview
Oh yeah,
or some shit like that.
press conference.
Yeah, there you go, press conference and fucking like just the way he acted. I was like, oh, like this shit's all a joke. Like, no, sir, you're the
The
fucking
fucking joke.
joke.
Especially what he tweeted the other day as well. There's never been a player like me who's ever gonna like. There's no player you've ever seen like me or play like me.
Stop, short stack.
Like,
Stop.
so Doug Flutie, Frank Tarkenton,
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. They don't mean nothing because they're about your height. They're under 6 foot. So I mean, I've seen Doug Flutie roll out and fucking launch the fucking thing 70 yards. They ain't never won shit. Frank Tarkenton, he went to two Super Bowls, lost both of them.
Yeah.
Drew won one. Russ won one. So unless you're gonna play like Russ or Drew, which I don't see you playing like them,
Never gonna happen. Never.
So, and then for him to play it like it's a joke, like
Congratulations, you played yourself.
because now at the end of the year, when like or like halfway through the year, this addendum is gonna be brought right back up. Say if they go on like a 3-game losing streak, that's the first thing they're gonna say. I guess he's not studying.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You're not.
Well, I mean, like, at that point, if he loses 3 in a row in a fucking season,
Stop it. Get some help.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
And it's not like they're asking him the world. They're just like, yo, Kyler,
Yeah. This is big brain time.
and that's it. 4 hours. Like, and it's how we talked about last week about the pitchers of old and how they took their craft so serious that they knew if they couldn't throw that 95 gas in,
They had to make some adjustments.
they had to make some adjustments. So is this like, and Michael Vick was one of those quarterbacks who came out years later and was like, yo, I should have been taking my craft way more serious. Because when he was in Atlanta, he was barely watching film. Like, they'd be like, Mike, did you watch film? He'd be like, man, I don't need film.
You told me to just go out and do what I do.
Yeah. Well,
So
that was after the first coach. When the next coach came in, that was like, all right, I want to run an offense. Mike is like, why? I mean, I could just do what I do.
Right.
I mean, and Mike didn't get hurt.
No, he never had any issues like that.
Well, when he came back in Philly, that's when it started to become a problem.
Well, he's a lot older by that point.
Yeah, but Kyler's getting hurt left and right. So wouldn't you think for you to practice your craft, it would help you not get hurt? Because if you're doing film study, you can find where somebody's making a mistake and then execute it in the game.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I'll just take off and run. One, you're not as big as as Michael Vick was. You're smaller. So those hits are going to be more on your body. We had a problem with the $230 million.
Yeah.
That addendum screamed at me like. So
Now this is another problem.
Yeah. It's almost like, he demands 200. You give him 200. You ask him, hey, he just studied for 4 hours. The fucking media blows it up like it's a bad thing that he should be studying. He thinks it's a fucking joke. I'm sorry, if I was in Arizona, I'm not taking that addendum out. I'm not taking it out. If you're gonna be a jackass and not take this seriously after I just opened my bank up to you, I'm taking my $100 million back. Because you don't take this serious.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And let's say Kyler gets traded in the next 2 years because of their performance. Cliff Kingsbury gets fired, the GM, everybody gets fired. They're going to clean house. That's going to follow him all over his career.
Well, I think Cliff will be the first one to go. I feel like they'll probably try to get a new coach in there before they get rid of him.
Yeah.
But it's just...
It's just churlish and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, and I to be honest with you, like, I don't even think he that good.
No, he's not. He's really not.
And people would put him in like the conversation of like a top 10. Oh, he's good enough.
No, he's not.
No, look, he may pass the ball more than Lamar does, but he's still not better.
No.
It's $230 million on a guy who doesn't even want to practice his craft personally for 4 hours. For Christ's sakes, I remember watching the Tony Romo Football Life. Tony Romo was so obsessed with his craft that he would just be in his living room in the off season, and he would literally try to throw the ball from different angles to teach his body how to throw it off a different platform. So if in the game, if he was off to the side or leaned back, he could still flick it and throw it in such a way where he needed to get it. Where
Right.
we're trying to, we got to put an addendum in a contract for a quarterback to do his fucking due diligence. Look, I don't understand if that was a rookie contract or, he was like a 7th round pick or something like that. I get that, but he's supposed to be like one of the best in the league. Why?
Exactly.
It's like it like eats at me. It's like how in the fuck this guy can get $230 million. And I'm gonna tell you this, everybody who's gonna be watching. I'm gonna ride his ass like a motherfucking pony until he proves me otherwise. Which I don't think he's gonna prove me. I guarantee he gets hurt about week 8, week 9 again.
Even if he's healthy, he ain't taking that team anywhere.
No, last year was their chance. Those first 10 games they were 10-0. They were looking scary. And
I don't know if they were 10-0, but they were
9-0, something like that, maybe 8-0.
Yeah, I don't remember, but either way, He's not taking them anywhere. Regardless, he can stay healthy and they can go 12-5.
Well,
It's
they're
not
going to
gonna
be
make a
without DeAndre
difference.
Hopkins for 6 games because he's suspended for PEDs.
That's crazy.
It's
It's a shit show in Arizona.
yeah. I mean, what are they going to do with their cap? They got J.J. Watt. He's going to be gone after this. They've lost half their defense. I mean, they still have Buda Baker, but Buda Baker's going to leave because he wants to get paid. And if they're not going to pay him, he's going to take it as disrespect. And let's put it like this: Buda Baker may have maybe rubbed the wrong way already for that addendum in the contract. Oh, I don't want that shit on me. I don't want no special. Look at Randy Gregory. We wanted the Cowboys wanted to sign him to the same exact contract Denver signed him to, except we had a clause in our contract that if he were to get suspended, then we don't have to pay him his weekly salary. He didn't like that, so he went with Denver.
Well, I mean, I get not liking it, but I mean, if you like, is that kind of like hinting at, oh well, I'm gonna end up doing something that's gonna get me suspended?
Well, I mean, early in his career, it took him a while to get to where he was like last year and the year before that because he kept getting suspended for weed and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like he said he found it disrespectful. Well, jackass, if you didn't get suspended fucking umpteen times within 3-4 years, we wouldn't be having this discussion. It would just be a regular contract with the value you wanted.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, so we'll move on. All right, so the NFL has now launched their new streaming service, NFL Plus, through Disney Plus, and it starts at $4.99. And I think it's essentially NFL Sunday Ticket. So for $5 and some change, you can get any game you want.
Word.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good deal. $5,
Yeah.
and I forget how much. I think it was like almost 100 some odd dollars for the package itself. 150 through Dish, and then for every box that it was going to be on, it was like $10 initially added on.
Right. Hmm. No, that seems like a good deal.
No, it does. I'm going to see what it's about. I'm gonna put the $5 up, see what see what it's looking like. If
Yeah.
or if it's like, okay, pick 3 teams, you only get these 3 teams games. Then to me, it's not worth it.
I mean, still, I mean, $5. And I got a feeling like I was just thinking like I got a feeling like they might do like what baseball does, like blackout restrictions. Like for example, I ordered the MLB TV thing last year so I could watch the Met game.
Oh, they blacked you out.
How I live in the New York area and I pick my favorite team and it's like, oh no, yeah, you can watch all these games, but you can't watch your team. Like, yo, you can go fuck yourself. Like seriously. Like if I'm paying for a package, I should automatically get the team in my fucking area.
Or SNY should be offering something.
Oh no, you can only watch the game on their app if you have Optimum or Cablevision or Comcast or whoever they're working with.
Yeah, but see, that's what don't make no sense to me. Like you're gonna black out these games for people, and then like the people that live here, like if the Giants are playing in fucking San Diego, they may not be on regular TV, but because you live in New York and they're playing in San Diego, you can't watch them, which makes no fucking sense. That's why I think these teams should be offering their own packages, like Dallas Cowboys Live. It's their own personal people that announce the games. You know what I mean? Like the Mets do, like the radio station.
Right.
Like you only hear them on the radio. You don't hear them anywhere else. So like a team like that, and they broadcast you the game. But it's not affiliated with Fox or anything like that. I don't know how they would work around those contracts.
Baseball seems to be the only sport where their streaming shit's all fucked up with the games, like blackouts and restrictions.
What was it? Wednesday's game? I was pissed. Only an ESPN game. So it wasn't even on ESPN New York, the radio station. You couldn't even get it there. It wasn't on SNY. It wasn't on 880. It wasn't on 1080. It wasn't on the Yankees fucking station.
It was on the Fan though.
What's that?
No, not the Fan. Yeah, 880 CBS Radio for the Mets broadcast.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Nope. I tried. That's why I had to stream it. It was fucking ridiculous. I was pissed.
And then I read an article that that game was like one of the most tuned into games on ESPN. Like I think either this year or I don't know. Like it was. They said they was like they made it a big deal, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but it's like, and I get it because it's like it's more likely people are gonna have ESPN in their package for cable as opposed to like, well, I might have ESPN, I don't have SNY because SNY might be in another package, or you might be in a different area where you can't get SNY, but you got ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Worldwide leader of cunts.
I think baseball. I think I recall like a month or two ago, a lot of Yankee fans were pissed because they had they bought a package or whatever for them, right? And then half their games are on Apple, then the other half are like on Amazon.
And some are on Peacock.
Exactly. So Yankee fans are complaining like, yo, they're basically essentially complaining what you complained about, the blackouts. Like, how am I from New York? I buy all these streaming services to watch the Yankees, and I can't watch them because I'm in the area where I live? What?
And you've put a blackout restriction on the team that I like to watch. Go figure.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to figure that shit out. And I think the NFL is going to have that problem, too, because now the NFL is moving their Thursdays to Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, I believe their Thursday games are going to Amazon. So they may have that same problem, which is stupid. Like,
why do you have to start including all these fucking putting these games on all these packages? You know, all these teams and all these games were originally on set platforms for years.
Yeah.
2, 5.
That was it. 2 and 5. It was just depending on where you lived in America.
You know, so if you lived over here, you know, you weren't going to get a game out west on Channel 2. But Channel 2 out in Chicago, you were going to get the other game. You know? But that's fine. You just don't live in the area.
Yeah.
But like now, like you said, the Apple and the Peacock and the Amazon and it's like
Apple
really?
TV and all this shit. So
No wonder why you're having so many
then I'd
issues.
imagine I'd imagine hopefully then if NFL Plus is not limiting you to pick a 1 or 2 or 3 teams, and it's like the original NFL Sunday Ticket, you're gonna get every game. There's no such thing as a blackout.
Yeah.
Which I hope so. We'll see how it looks. I wonder if they're gonna be running preseason games off it. Even though NFL Network, I just seen on NFL Network that they released the schedule for the preseason games, and they're showing majority of all preseason games on NFL Network.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
See, like all Thursday games should be on the NFL Network.
It has been for the.
No, I know, but I'm saying it should stay like that because then, well, if anything, all you gotta do is just download the app on your phone and you're good to go. But
Let me find out.
I mean, yeah, they got the Fire Stick, but it's like I got a feeling that Fire Stick shit's gonna get shut down at some point. But
I'm looking into it right now. So live out-of-market preseason games, live local and primetime regular season and postseason games on your phone and or tablet. NFL Plus Premium. Live local and primetime regular season, postseason games on your phone and tablet. Live out-of-market, live game, audio for every game, full game replays across device, ad-free. Condensed game replays, coaches film, and more. See, it's not getting in detail of like it just says live, local, and primetime games, primetime regular season games. So what would define a primetime game?
whatever game they deem fit as the prime time game or whatever they set as the prime time. That's the 8:20. That's a Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. You know, that's like their prime time.
So I mean, it's probably just worth it to pay the $5, gentlemen, and the $30 a year. just for it if they're gonna do it like that. Which sucks. I was hoping it would be just like NFL Sunday Ticket, because at that point, like, you know, if I want to watch the Cowboys, I'd rather just stream it somewhere.
It's more than $30 a year
What?
for that. I mean, it's $5 a month for the NFL Plus.
Yeah, so it comes out to $60. They're running a promo right now. You pay 50% off.
Oh, okay. Well, that works. Yeah, now's the time to jump on it if you want that, but there's gonna come with restrictions and commercials, and I can't stand the commercials.
Well, the
Commercials are
premium, it offers no commercials, no ads, and that's $10 a month. It's at $80 a year. It's 34% off.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. In other news, Danny Amendola finally retires after 13 years with 5 teams. Now, I would, if he was somebody else, I would say, hey, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
He's not.
He's not. Maybe he's good enough to get retired from, you know, maybe the Rams before they went to L.A. again.
He'll get his number retired probably maybe in New England, but that's it.
Yeah, maybe in New England.
I mean, that's where he shined because he had Brady. So, but yeah, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Dak Prescott said that this is going to be a golden year for him and the Cowboys. Like,
hold on, Danny, you want to take over for a second?
So Dak Prescott, like I said, he thinks this is going to be a golden year for him and or the Cowboys. Just shut up and play. You know, I don't like that pre-predicting shit. You know, like you're not Joe Namath. You know, you're not fucking Babe Ruth. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit the home run over there, and then I'm gonna hit the home run over there. Dan Snyder testifies. I feel like he should definitely be voted out as an owner. Goodell would have to have, he supposedly have the ability to recommend the vote. It would have to be a majority league-wide vote, 24 to 32 teams. But from another article that I read, Goodell says that he doesn't have any authority to remove Snyder. I mean, I don't understand how you don't have the authority to remove him, you know, and get the vote started. You're the commissioner of the league. What do you have authority to do? Ruin football with all the other bullshit changes that you've made? It's crazy. You know, I feel like there's definitely something fishy going on between him and Snyder. Like, I feel like in some ways they're kind of in the same boat, and it's like they're trying to not let something out. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like...
Hello?
Yeah.
All right, where were you at?
Talking about the Goodell thing, that he says he doesn't have the authority to remove Snyder, but like I said, there was another article that says that he does have the authority to remove him. It just needs to be a majority of the league thing. 24 of the 32 teams need to all
Prove it, right?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I think there's definitely something fishy going on between the two. Like, I feel like they're in the same boat. You know, there's essentially like one's covering for the other and the other's covering for the other. Like, there's something like each one has dirt on the other, and there's just something strange.
He hasn't been
on.
He hasn't been right since he came in after all them fucking changes.
That's all he's done. That's all he's had the authority to do, is just ruin the game of football, make all those changes.
Some of them I agree with, like, protecting the players a little bit more, but I mean, other than that, it's like he's been real shady at times,
Yeah, and,
especially lying to Congress.
well, you're supposed to be under oath when you go up there to testify, so him lying, I mean, that can't be a good thing. You know what I
No.
mean? If you were just a regular person going to Congress and you were going up there and you were uh, swearing under an oath, oh, I swear not, tell the truth, or however that shit works. Regular person goes up and does that shit. They're probably gonna get their ass chewed on, and maybe not go directly to jail, but fucking definitely, you know, get the slap on the wrist kind of thing. Goodell, oh man,
He may get fined and shit like that, but I think at that point, if it really comes back, like, for collusion or something like that, where it's something real big, like well, like something to the effect, like, say if him and Dan Snyder were in on the ticket prices, right? Because it's supposedly fucking Dan Snyder was hiding his ticket revenue prices.
okay,
Because a portion of those revenue prices, every team has to give a portion of that to the league.
okay,
So you could skew the numbers if you lie about it or you're holding a percentage of it.
right,
So now, if he's caught up in that scandal with Dan Snyder for actually, cutting some of the numbers or skewing some of the numbers off to where they're not paying as much, both of them are going to be out on their ass. All the NFL owners, probably 31 of them, are going to be like, yeah, both of you's got to go. You're out.
like that's just crazy though. Like, why would, like, what could be the possible reason for like Goodell to be in on some shit like that? Like, what the fuck does it matter? You know, like, yeah, like you said, Snyder's supposed to report whatever he makes as far as percentage wise and everything for that. But why? How does it benefit Goodell to be involved in it?
More money in his pocket.
Yeah,
I mean, if he's lying about David Portnoy from fucking Barstool Sports, I wouldn't put it past them lying to get more bread.
right. Yeah, no, I mean, something strange is going on.
I want to know. I also want to know about Dan Snyder's 11-hour fucking testimony. What the fuck were you talking about for 11 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I understand you're the owner, and it's pretty much it's your company in a sense. So you got to answer for all those misconducts and sexual misconducts and the rumors and shit like that.
The-
But if you're innocent, why is it taking you 11 hours to answer all those questions? There should have been like at most a 2 to 3 hour fucking testimony.
that means there's a lot of shit going on. That means, I mean, from outside looking in, looks like there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of shit to be said, a lot of shit to be talked about, a lot of things he did that were wrong, illegal, whatever. So, well, it's a whole page list of things. So it's like, well, we're gonna be here all day fucking talking about this.
Yeah, we only got about an hour.
So, but I mean, we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it this year. They're gonna try to keep it under wraps until after the Super Bowl. Then the fucking pile of worms will open up. Or if Congress just don't give a shit, they'll release it in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and it'll be a big fucking shit show.
Yeah. Well, it's already a shit show in Washington.
Yeah,
It's already a shit show. For the past 10 years, he didn't want to change the name. Then it's FedEx Field, and FedEx is like, dog, we'll pull fucking funding right now if you don't change. And he was forced to change, so that rubs people the wrong way. Then it's the sexual misconducts. Then from that, it led to John Gruden getting fired because he fucking was like, yo, check this out instead.
yeah,
So, I mean, a lot has happened just from him as an owner. Rubbing the fans the wrong way, sponsors, sexual misconduct, workplace problems. The guy who built the parking lot for his fucking establishment, The guy wanted box seats, and he didn't want to give him the box seats, but it was a part of the deal. So he made one of his secretaries go and pour milk under his box seats, so it would smell like molded milk in there. Like, you're a multi-millionaire, and we're doing petty shit like that?
Yeah, for real. Fucking you son of a bitch. But everybody, I mean, for the most part, I mean, this is what everybody's talking about now. I mean, training camp's about to start, or
Training camps have started.
Yeah, it's already underway, and preseason's going to be starting soon.
I wonder when they're going to cut preseason out. I know it's some revenue for them, but it's really not the biggest revenue. I mean, unless those numbers show otherwise, but I just don't like. I'm more in favor for jointed practices than preseason games.
So, kind of have it like baseball has it, where they have when it comes to spring training, they have the Arizona League out there, and then they have it down in Florida. So essentially, those are the only two spots where the spring training teams go. And then they travel. Like, you're not going to see a team travel from Arizona to Florida in spring training and play another team, but all the teams that are around there, they all play each other.
Yeah, so, like, all right, so the Dallas Cowboys are in Oxford, California, right?
Okay.
So they would have joint practices with the Rams, the Chargers,
the Niners.
The Niners, like so it's just jointed practices. So people can still pay to go see it.
Right.
But it's not like a nationally televised game and shit like that where they're making a big deal out of it, cuz preseason is never it really doesn't mean shit.
No.
I'm not talking about completely cut it out either. Like we could just cut it to 2 games, make it 2 weeks, that's it.
Yeah. No, and then add another game into the season in general?
Yeah, make it 18 and give everybody 2 buys. I mean, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
It's also they can expand the playoffs as well too. Add another team in there, so it's top 8 now instead of the 7.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. I say that 2 week that 2 week buy now, if they did that, that would definitely that'd be interesting as far as the fantasy thing goes.
Oh yeah, it would definitely help. I mean, because players were already complaining after this season, after the 17-game season, that there should be another bye because it's a lot on their body. Right. I get it. It's the most physical sport. You're adding in another game. So I definitely think if they add in another game within the future, they cut 2 preseason games out, they add another game, the players are going to demand another bye.
Yeah.
Which is I'm fine with. It's going to make the season go another week. So instead of like, what was it, February something, maybe the Super Bowl's in March. Or no, they could start the season earlier and still have it end in February. Because they play in a warm climate anyway, which I disagree with.
So then, then you can just leave it the way that it is. Like you said, you're playing in a warm environment anyway. Just start the season on the 7th or the 11th or the 9th or whatever it is.
Or August, the last week of August.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But I kind of like the way it starts now. It starts like that within that first week of September.
Yeah, I think it's. Let me check this year.
The 11th, I think.
Yeah, the 8th, and then it's the 11th. So 8th is Thursday night kickoff, and then the 11th. All right. NFL defensive coordinator named Anonymous says Lamar is just so inconsistent throwing the ball. That's why he'll never be top 10. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't know. remains to be seen how he's really going to pan out. You know, that could definitely be a fallacy, but it could definitely be a possibility. We just have to wait and see. We don't know yet. At the moment, yes, you could definitely say that, but you
Well,
know,
I can agree with it. It's just because, like, who's he really had to throw the ball to? Marquise Brown?
yeah,
Now, like, I think, let's see, Ravens wide receivers. I know they traded Brown to Arizona.
I don't think they really have anybody, honestly.
Oh my God, no. Nobody here on this page I know. Excuse me. All right. Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, James Prosh II, Tylan Wallace, Jalen Moore, Benjamin Victor. The only person I know is Rashad Bateman. And Rashad Bateman is no number one wide receiver unless he's going to prove us wrong this year, but I don't see it. So I can agree with it because it's who is he really throwing the ball to?
Yeah,
You essentially just took his fucking his number one target away and let him go to fucking Arizona. Rashad Bateman? Jesus Christ.
it's crazy.
It is fucking crazy.
I mean, how the hell do they expect to finish better than 8 and 9?
That's a slate and a half. I mean, we could take a look at their fucking schedule for a second.
Still, regardless, they don't. You know, they're not going to be a high-powered offense.
All right, they play the Jets. That's a dub. Then they played Miami. Miami's a tough team this year. I think they're going to lose that game. They play the Patriots. I think they lose that game. They play the Bills. I think they lose that game. They play the Bengals. I think they lose that game. They beat the Giants. Browns, depending if Deshaun's playing. So it's one, two, three, four. 1-4. 2-4. I'll give them a dub over the Browns. 3-4. They play Tampa. 3-5. They play the Saints. 4-5. They play the Panthers. 5-5. Play the Jaguars. 6-5. They play the Broncos. 6-6. They play the Steelers. 7-6. They play the Browns again. So 8-6. 9-6. About 9-8. Yeah, 9-8. 10-7. Depending if they it depends on how they play against the Browns, and it depends on how they play against the Steelers. Because I don't think they're gonna touch the Bengals, and yeah, I don't think
They're gonna be putting a lot of weight on that defense this year.
You ain't fucking lying about that. That's a lot of weight, especially if they can't produce points. They're going to be on the field a lot longer than what they expect. It's almost going to be like that Chip Kelly offense back when Chip was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, your offense can score in fucking 10 seconds, but your defense is on the field for a long time.
Right.
And then especially if you can't score those points in the 10 seconds or the 10 minutes, your defense is back on the field again.
Yep.
So, unless they have a great rushing attack this year, I don't see it going well.
No. I agree. But, oh well.
Alright, so we're going to go into the fantasy football section now of the show. Danny, hit me with your top 15 wide receivers in the league this year.
Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen. I kind of want to have DK Metcalf there, but their quarterback situation is rough. So I got Cortland Sutton instead.
Mm.
So
All right. Well, I had Cooper Cup in one. Um, I was I was like debating with myself about Devonte Adams, but I have him at number two, just because he is a great talent, and he's not like he's going to a worse situation at quarterback. Derek Carr's a competent quarterback; he can get him the ball. It just may be about familiarity with him.
yeah, timing.
Jamar Chase, I expect him to have a still a solid year, but I expect more double teams to come his way. Justin Jefferson, I have him high on my list this year. I have him at four. I have Tyreek at five, then Stephon Diggs at six, Keenan Allen at seven, Mike Evans at eight. Number nine, AJ Brown. Uh, well, look, he put up those numbers with Ryan Tannehill. Now, can Hurts be better than Tannehill? I think so, but for now, it may be still same level of production.
Right.
Chris Godwin, number 10. DK Metcalf at number 11. I mean, yes, I agree with what you were saying. You know, to the fact of the matter is, you know, who's is Drew Lock? You know what I mean? I mean, Drew Lock playing in Denver, he had Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton and you know Melvin Gordon and Phil, you know, all those running backs, and they, you know what I mean, he still couldn't get it done. Um, DeAndre Hopkins at number 12. Be weary of that. He's going to be suspended for this first 6 games. Um, Now, I don't like putting him on this list. Yes, he was a really good wide receiver, but he was doing majority of his work as a running back. Debo Samuel. So, I mean, great flex player because you're going to get those points as a wide receiver and as a running back.
Right.
Michael Thomas, I think he's posed to have a really big year. You know, all the ankle problems are done and over with. And now Allen Robinson. I think Allen Robinson's stock is up just for the simple fact that he's playing with Matthew Stafford.
A little bit, yeah.
Alrighty, so let's see. Okay. Alrighty. So now today's topic for fantasy help and news or whatever would be pick 1 and pick 10. How are you going to draft and how you should be drafting depending on what formula you want to use to draft. So there's a couple of sites out there you can use for practice. ESPN for one, NFL Network. Those are mock drafts. I prefer Draft Wizards. They give you a grade, you know, of each position, how you did. Then there's RotoWire. RotoWire is okay as well. So from what I've seen, what the computer has it at on Draft Wizards is if you have the number 1 pick, they're taking Jonathan Taylor. Okay? So the computer is telling you Jonathan Taylor, right? And then you get the second pick again, you know, coming back snake-wise, Saquon Barkley. Now, I ran the test twice. It did it twice. It just gave me Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. So now, for the first pick myself, when I drafted myself, I used my formula, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, running back. I went Cooper Kupp, and then I was able, out of the running backs left was Ezekiel Elliott. I wasn't happy with it, but sometimes that's just how it goes. You know, you got a big marquee player at the front, but you're gonna go from 1 to 10, then 10 to 1. There's gonna be a lot of guys picked, so it's about 19 guys gonna be picked in between that.
Right.
18 actually. So then I did it again, and instead of taking Cooper Kupp, I took Justin Jefferson. Right. So now that altered everything, and I was able to grab Nick Chubb on the way back. So yeah, I didn't get Cooper Kupp, but I still got Justin Jefferson, who's poised for another big year. Right. And Nick Chubb. Now, if he stays healthy, he's going to be the number 1 running back for the Browns.
Absolutely.
So now, pick 10. That Draft Wizards was still giving me this. You know, the computer would pick for pick 10 Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce. It did it twice. I'm not big on taking tight ends that early unless it is a Travis Kelce, because it's like drafting a wide receiver essentially. And with Tyreek Hill not being there, I think he's going to get even more balls thrown at him. No homo. Pause. So when I did it, for the first time I did it, I got Stephon Diggs and then Aaron Jones. because you get the back-to-back picks, 1 to 10, then 10 to 1. So that's not bad. And then I got even Devontae Adams and Joe Mixon on my next test run. All right, so then I went to. You wanna give us one of your mock drafts? How it went?
I only did one.
All right.
Let's see, let me pull up my photo real quick. Because I did it, and then as I'm doing it, I realized how the draft, how it worked. Like, it would give you like 5 or 6 guys. You make a pick, and then all the other guys get picked. Based off of the other 9 Autobots or whatever in the fucking.
He said Autobots.
the computerized people in the draft.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go back at a later date and just and redo it. But I don't think I did too bad. I mean, they gave me a C minus, but so
well, I know you took Cooper Kupp and then you ended up with Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, ended up taking Cooper Kupp with my first pick, but I ultimately had Justin Herbert, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, Dalton Schultz. My flex was Brandon Ayuk. I have the Rams defense. I have the Rams kicker. And then like I said, me realizing how their little mock draft system works, I ended up taking 2 quarterbacks.
Well, you can do that. That's okay because it's a major position. So to have a backup for that is fine.
I took Brady and Matthew Stafford, but I also have Dallas Goedert, Kadarius Toney, Jarvis Landry, and James Cook.
Well, Dallas Goedert's a good pick. He should get some more receptions this year, depending on Hurts' development. But I like the team.
Yeah, honestly, even with me knowing that I fucked up, I was still like, that's not too bad.
No, I mean,
you got Justin Herbert, Cooper Kupp, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. It's like if these guys stay healthy and everything works out, like those could be the guys that could be just spearheading the team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the Justin Herbert pick and the Cooper Kupp pick. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a monstrous year.
Yeah.
Especially with that defense. Oof. I like the Alvin Kamara pick. It's just, if he wasn't suspended, it'd be even better.
How long was he suspended for?
6 games. PEDs as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to write that down just in case so I don't forget that for a later date.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I wanted to take Justin, but I'm like, I don't trust Kirk.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I don't blame you. All right, so now for the RotoWire, this was interesting. So for the computer, it took Jonathan Taylor, and then it took A.J. Brown, which is not bad. So then I ran it again. It gave me Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. Like, you sons of bitches. I wouldn't touch Saquon Barkley with a 10-foot pole. Like I told you guys earlier last week, I don't draft Giant players. I don't. And for the fact of the matter is, he can't stand up on one leg without breaking his toenail.
Right.
So I did my draft. So with first pick, I took Justin Jefferson, and basically the best available running backs, and there was James Conner. So I was kind of upset about that, but I think with DeAndre Hopkins being out week 6, and the Cardinals having their fucking problems as it is, I think they're gonna lean more on the running game. So I'm okay with it. I would like somebody better, so I did it again. I took Cooper Kupp, and then I was able to land Aaron Jones. All right, so that was with pick 1. Now going on to pick 10, the computer picked Austin Eckler and then Najee Harris, 2 running backs. So it's not bad, but you're kind of like, you're leaving yourself a void in your lineup because after that, there's not going to be many wide receivers to pick. Well, high quality, I should say. So then I ran the test again for the computer. It took CeeDee Lamb and then Austin Eckler. So I like that better. I'm a big Cowboy fan, but I think unless somebody else that we signed, James Washington, Michael Gallup, or even that kid that we signed from the USFL, who was the MVP of the league, we signed him. If he could step up and be a big contribution, I think then it'll open up for CD. But other than that, he's going to see a lot of double teams.
Right.
So I did it myself. I took CD and then got Najee Harris. I ran it again. I got Mike Evans and then Najee Harris. So it depends on where your spot is. So now next week we'll be doing the second pick number 2 and pick 9. Right? We'll have more basically the same format I'm showing you guys right now of what the computer is picking and then how you should be picking. I'll see if I can get more sources as well. So it's not a bad thing to pick Cooper Kupp first. It's not. Devontae Adams at number 1, I think that's a little bit of a stretch because, like I said, you just don't know the chemistry between him and Derek Carr and how it's going to play out on the field.
Right. No, I agree. Oh, and you gotta watch for that bye. You gotta see when these guys have a bye. I mean, I just looked at it here. Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson, they both have a bye week 7. So
yeah. So watch your bye weeks.
Yeah, that's a big thing. People don't realize that, and they ended up fucking themselves in the long run.
Or plan accordingly to your buys.
Yeah.
To where it's like, all right, so instead of like, your buys are spread out from all different weeks, where it's almost like come week 4 and on one player from your lineup is going to have to be out and then someone subbed in. Or you can plan it where you're going to try to get majority of your buys around 1 week, like so say week 7, and you got a bunch of week 7s. All right, well you're kind of essentially fucked for week 7, but only week 7, because then outside of that you got everybody pretty much slated to play.
I like the idea of like if you're gonna like for me it just thinking about it because I'm I still might do the fantasy this year. I'm thinking like not even just for me, but what could just be a general benefit to anybody else. Like it could be hard, but try to see if you can get your guys with the buys early in the year. Because if you're in a race coming down the stretch, the last 2 or 3 weeks of fantasy, and now one of your main guys has got a week 12, week 13 bye or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, no, because I mean, week 13. I'm not saying he's a star-studded receiver, but DJ Moore from Carolina. You don't want to have guys that have buys later on in the year, like week 10, week 11. Those could be more key matchups that you need to win to get yourself into the playoffs. Like I like trying to go earlier if I can. Or
no,
like
you brought up a really good point there. A really good point. DJ Moore, a very talented player, right? And especially if your season ends at like week 13 or week 14, you don't want him on a bye, especially if you're looking for like this is the game, win or get in.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's also to that effect though is yes, DJ Moore, even with Sam Darnold last year, he had a pretty decent year. For me, if Darnold is the starter again, I'm not I can't take you, DJ Moore. If it's Baker as the number 1, then I'm intrigued to see what DJ Moore is gonna do.
Right. I mean that was just the receivers. This list of running backs right here. Like look, like what we were just saying. The Colts have a bye week 14. If that week 14 is your first week in a playoff game or a winner go home to get into the playoffs, you don't want
best running back maybe sitting down because he has a bye. Exactly.
Christian McCaffrey is healthy and he's going balls to the walls this year. Their bye that this year is week 13. So I just maybe something else to now factor in. Do you try to go for that best guy, but that best guy might have a bye at the end of the year that could affect your playoff seeding or your,
no, just your roster in general.
That too, yeah. So Aaron Jones, week 14 bye. He's somebody that I drafted in my mock draft. Kamara, week 14 bye. So Just
Yeah, but it's also, think about it like this, Danny. He's got a week 14 bye, and he's suspended for the first 6 games.
no, I was thinking that too. So
So
it's like,
he's like, and here's the funniest thing: they may pitch count his ass for 2 weeks. You know, yeah, you're in shape, but you're not in football shape yet, as in ready to be hit. So they may pitch count him for week 7, then maybe week 8.
right.
So you may not get full potential Galvin Kamara until week 9, and then what? Week 13, week
Yeah.
14, he's on a bye.
I mean, if you're gonna go with Tom Brady and you're just gonna go with an old reliable, that's just, he's not gonna have his super big fantasy days like he used to. But I would say honestly, he should be a solid lock for at least 30 points a week.
Depending on the scoring system for the quarterback, yes,
You
100%. I mean, but
Aaron Rodgers, they got a week 14 bye. So it's stuff to look at. Jameis Winston, if you're rolling with the Saints, it's
I mean, Jameis looked okay last year until he tore his shit.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If he's healthy and he's performing like he did last year when they were 5-2 before he went down,
Yeah. Yes, I mean, always evaluate your bye weeks, because I mean, I wouldn't even expect that, because I something's going on over here, but Danny, that was an excellent point on bye weeks. You know what I mean? Look, if it's really late, and find out. Do your information when you join this league? When is the season end? When's the playoffs start? How's the format? What's everything going on? So then you can plan ahead to where it's like, all right, I'm planning on making the playoffs, right? So I ideally don't want too many guys that have buys for weeks 13, 14, right? So you're looking for essentially buys underneath week 10, right? And maybe you'll take a guy here and there that has a 13 or a 14 week bye week.
yeah.
Now I think the buys start week 3. I think everybody plays the first 2 weeks straight, and then the buys start from there.
From what I'm seeing here, I'm looking through all receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. The earliest I'm seeing is week 6. But I don't, because I'm not really sure. Like, I'm sure people definitely have a bye week 6, but like you said, I don't know exactly when that bye starts.
No, you're right.
Right.
Each NFL team has one bye week during the season, falling between weeks 6 to 14 in 2022. Generally speaking, a bye closer towards the middle or the end of the season is preferable, since it gives the team needed rest as the stretch run approaches.
Okay, see, so it starts week 6. So start formulating your draft from essentially that week on.
Yeah.
So
you're ideally trying to look for buys within 6 to 8.
if you can take advantage of those first 5 weeks, with certain guys to spearhead you and get you out to a nice little sizable league, or at least even if you're tied with the top guy in your league, you're at least essentially going to be 4-1, 3-2, you should be sitting right up there at the top, and
So depending on how it goes,
you just got to play some Tetris the rest of the way, fit guys in to move things around.
Yep, waiver wire every day, if you got time, or at least, like I said, it should be 20 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Bills, Eagles, Vikings, Rams.
Definitely got to do your due diligence.
All right, so week 6, teams on buys: Lions, Texans, Titans, Raiders. So essentially, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, and those players for the Titans and Raiders. The Lions, depending on who you're picking from the Lions. The Texans, I'm sorry, I wouldn't take a single fucking player from the Texans.
Like you were saying, you don't take nobody from the Giants. So essentially, if you want to do it like that, you can add that other factor and be like, all right, well, look at all the teams, look at all their players and who they have, and be like, all right, I won't take anybody from this team, or this team. Then that essentially is just gonna weed out more bullshit, so you can try to hone in on like
certain players.
Yeah.
Week 7, Bills, Eagles, Vikings, Rams. So those are 4 good teams with players of value for your fantasy lineup. So now week 8, 2 teams only have a bye: Chiefs and Chargers. So,
Hmm.
hmm, that's very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, it's
That is interesting because it's only 2 teams, and the Chiefs and the Chargers. So I mean, look, if you got Patrick Mahomes, you know what I mean. Say you got yourself a Travis Kelsey, or you got one of their wide receivers that they have. Um, yeah, that'd be a good plan around drafting it. So only week 8 you're gonna have a bulk of your lineup essentially sitting, and then it's ready to go for the rest of the year.
yeah.
Week 9: Browns, Cowboys, Broncos, 49ers, Steelers, and Giants. That's 6 teams on a bye week 9. So you should be looking. Week 9 is a prime week then,
Yeah.
right? Week 10: Ravens, Bengals, Jets, Patriots. 4 teams. Week 11: Jaguars, Bucks, Seahawks, Dolphins. Week 12: nobody's got a bye. Week 13: Cardinals, Panthers. Week 14: Falcons, Bears, Packers, Colts. Commanders.
Send me that link so I can check that out when I need to. But yeah, like that, that like you said, that week 9 where you got 6 teams off. That's what? That's a fourth of the league.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's pretty much a full fantasy season because some leagues will run you into about week 14. So then week 15, 16, and 17 are your playoffs and championship weeks. I
right.
like for my league, I like to end it week 13, and then the league is over by week 15. It just makes it easier because around week 16 and 17 is when people start resting players for playoffs. So you got to
Yeah.
keep that in mind as well. Like I said, you got to look at what your league is. Look at the points. Look at the schedule. Look at how the buys are set up. Look at everything. So you're well prepared. It's not just like you're going in there and you're just picking people. Like, oh well, you're picking the best, but you may pick the best lineup, but you're all out, all multiple weeks from week. You got guys out from week 6 to 14, constantly in and out, and then players are getting hurt. Players are underperforming. You know what I mean? It's a lot of variables into this. It's not rocket science, guys, but if you're not
It-
prepared, it's gonna show.
yeah. 100%.
All right, so I think we
So
should wrap that up, and we'll get to our verses, and
and
then
think of it this way: you're investing money into this, whether it be $50 a
$10.
person, 100 per league, whatever it is per league per person to do this. You really just want to throw up money and be like, yeah, I'm not even gonna like really do the work. I'm just gonna pick guys and like,
Yeah,
no.
essentially
Like,
doing what the computer is just takes the best guy available,
if you're gonna do that, then just sit there and do the mock drafts all day.
or join a free league.
Or yeah,
Because if it's a free league, who the fuck cares? I mean, like I said, we're gonna have the free league for us. So if you guys want to join, you guys can compete against us. That's more for bragging rights, right? But you still should be doing your due diligence.
I
Like
mean,
you
I
said,
get it. We all got things going on in our life, so it's like, oh, well, how am I gonna sit there and like, make all these lists of all these guys and do all this? That takes time. Like, well, then if you really feel like that, then you shouldn't be doing it. Then you should be finding something else to do within your time. You know, you figure, you don't have to do this at the last minute. You can do this. You can do an hour a week an hour a week for the 4 weeks leading up to the draft, heading into the season.
all right,
There's usually,
gotta continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, some drafts they even stretch a little later. I've seen them go up to as far as literally that first weekend before the football season starts.
Yeah, literally the week before Thursday starts.
So I mean, like I said, if you did your diligence an hour a week, whether it be an hour in the morning on a Sunday or, fucking sit there while you're at work, you got an hour while you're sitting there at lunch, sit there, heat your food up, and just,
Well,
have a little notepad with you and just jot guys down.
the average person spends 30 minutes in the bathroom daily. You can bring your phone with you while you're in the John.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube guy in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, yeah, YouTube, whatever, Twitter, work, whatever it is. But so, if you're spending 30 minutes daily in the bathroom, taking a shit or whatnot, or just relaxing while you're shitting, you can't take 10 minutes out of that 30? And guys, I would suggest going to a ShopRite, a Rite Aid, a Walgreens, where the magazine section is. Pick yourself up a fantasy magazine. Look through them before you buy it. Find out which one you ideally like. And then throw that in the bathroom with you.
Right.
So if you're in there 30 minutes a day, or you're at home or whatever or not, right? You go to the bathroom, you look through the book. And those books offer so much shit.
Yeah.
They break it down, players by schedule, teams by schedule. They have their own mock drafts. They give you your own, list of sleeper picks, the rookies that are going to come in and have a big impact.
They're
everything.
essentially doing all the homework and work for you. Now you just need to translate that over and make your own list for who you want and how you want to build your team, and then off you go.
Yep. It's essentially how my wife would do it. She would look at the book, look at their top 10, top 15, and then make her adjustments to it, how she sees it.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that'll wrap up fantasy football for this week. We'll dive into the verses, and then we'll see you guys probably next Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. So, this week's verses. We had our top 5 dead or alive yesterday, which was running backs. And this week's verses is Emmitt Smith versus Barry Sanders.
All right.
All right, Danny. Since he's your GOAT, start us off.
Hall of Famer, obviously. Surprisingly, he's only won. When I seen it, he only won one MVP. 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, 6-time First Team All Pro, 4-time Second Team All Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler, 4-time NFL Rushing Leader, All Rookies Team, 90s All Decade Team, the 100th Anniversary Team. Won the Burt Bell Award twice, Heisman Trophy winner. So he played in 151 career games. He had a total of 15,269 yards, 99 touchdowns. He averaged 5 yards per rush, and he averaged 100 yards per game.
Yeah. All right, so Emmitt Smith played 226 games. He had 18,355 yards, 4,409 attempts. He averaged 4.2 yards a carry, 81.2 yards a game. He had 164 rushing touchdowns, 3,224 receiving yards, 515 receptions. He averaged 6.3 yards a catch. He averaged about 14.3 yards a game. He had 11 receiving touchdowns. Now, Emmitt Smith played 14 years to Barry's 10. To Barry's 10.
Yeah.
All right, so what the fuck? 4, 8, 12, 16. So he played 10 years. Emmitt Smith played 16 years. No, 14 years.
Played
14
a lot
years.
longer.
He played 14 years, so he played 4 more years. Now, I do believe Dallas's line attributed to a lot of that yardage. Because he had one of the greatest lines in history. But I can see if Barry had played 4 more years with another team, or even Detroit, he may have more yardage than Emmitt Smith.
I mean, every year he rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Jesus.
1,400, 13, 15, 13, 11, 18, 15, 15, 2014, his last year before he retired. So, I mean, he wasn't a big receiving touchdown guy. He had 10 throughout his career, but he
Well,
was a beast on the ground.
Emmitt Smith had only 2 years with the Cowboys where he was underneath 1,000 yards. When he went to Arizona, he got hurt. Didn't really play much. He only had 256 yards. Then the next year he had 937. But from 1991 to 2001, 1,500, 1,700, 14, 14, 17, 12,000, 13, 13, 12,000.
And they ran, and they were there, and they played at the same time, essentially.
Yeah.
Like you would say, Barry's 10 years. You can kind of like from '89 to '98. You can kind of match up along with Emmitt's '91 to 2001. That's kind of like I mean, I get it. It's a year off the start dates or whatever, but or a year or two off on the start date. But I feel like essentially the big bulk of what they really did kind of lines up with each other.
Hold on, I'm gonna do something here. Let's see this. 1990. Okay. All right, so I lined them up from 1990 to 98. I have them both lined up. So the 89 season is not counted, and from 80, what was it, 98? Yeah, from 99 and on doesn't count. So Emmitt had 140 games. Barry had 138. Barry had 2,782 rushing attempts. Emmitt Smith had 2,914. Right, so Emmitt had more carries, about 100 some change. Barry had 13,799 yards rushing. Emmitt only had 12,566 yards rushing. Rushing touchdowns. Barry had 85. Emmitt had 125. Rushing yards game. Barry 100. Emmitt 89.8, so 90. Rushing attempts per game. They both had about 20. Yards per attempt. Barry had 5 to Emmitt's 4.3. Receptions. Barry had 328 to Emmitt's 415. Wow. Barry had more receiving yards. 2,639 to Emmitt Smith's 2,609. Barry led in yards per reception at 8 to Emmitt Smith's 6.3. Barry had 10 receiving touchdowns to Emmitt's 9. Receptions per game, Barry 2, Emmitt 3. Receiving yards a game, Barry 19 yards to Emmitt's 18 yards. Well, this is back in the time where they were, traditional backs. They barely caught it out of the backfield.
Right.
Yards from scrimmage, Barry has that 16,438 to Emmitt's 15,175. Fumbles, Barry had 31 to Emmitt Smith's 40. Playoff games, Barry had 6, Emmitt 16. Games started 6-16. Rushing attempts, wow. Yeah, so the playoffs is where they skew. But for the most part, within that time frame where they both played, and we're excluding Emmitt's more years and Barry's rookie year, essentially, Barry's the better back.
And not even that. It's like he played with Detroit. Detroit was not known at that time to have a good offensive line.
No, that's why. That's why when you watched him run the ball, it was lost 2 yards, gain 15, lose 5 yards, gain 30, lose 5 yards, gain 20, lose 5. You know what I mean?
So it's like,
I get it's a preference. It's who you want to pick.
And look, Emmitt played behind that fucking Great Wall of Dallas back in the '90s. Come on now.
You put Barry behind that wall. Yeah, you put Barry behind that Great Wall of Dallas. It's for the league. It's a.
So like I think it honestly it's a little more than a preference now. It's like
yeah,
it is. Barry was really the number one back ever.
Yeah, and if for the sake of the argument, if he were to go not Dallas, but let's just put him somewhere else, he probably either eclipses that number, what Emmett had, or he sets the bar for Emmett to break it later on.
Now, if you put Emmett in Detroit, does Emmett do what Emmett did?
To a degree, not fully. You know, I would definitely mark down those touchdowns, right? Mark down some of the yardage. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you. I think Barry's the winner out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if like it just makes sense, like you just said. If we put Barry behind the Great Wall of Dallas, that's unfair.
Yeah, it is. Oh man.
For shit's sake, it was unfair with Emmett back there. We put Barry back there, where he hikes like Troy hikes it. By the time he gets the ball and he's like in a sprint to the line's already pushed the other line 3 yards up the field. So now he's got 3 yards to run, make his one jump cut, embarrass the rest of everybody, and it's off to the fucking races.
Yeah.
So I mean that would be interesting to see, but I completely agree with anybody saying it's Barry because it is. Yep. I'm not saying what Emmett did isn't special. Yes, he's the league's leader in rushing yards for a reason. Most of that was because of Dallas, and then after that, after the Great Wall, he still stayed and still kept chugging for it. So I'll give him that. But I think Barry, just like I said, from us comparing that time frame where Barry's just a better back, excluding the touchdowns. But you would have to attribute those touchdowns for Dallas's line.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why he's leading in that department. Because other than that, Barry led in everything. The yards, the carries, the averages. He led in everything.
So
it's
like when you looked at me the other day and you were like, "Really, Barry?" I'm like, "Yeah, Barry. Why not?"
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, well, that was our top 5. I just didn't see. It threw me off guard that Barry was going to be number 1. Of course, Barry's going to be in that top 5, top 3. I get that. But now looking at it in a different light, putting what some may call the best running back ever in Emmitt Smith, because the stats show it, against a guy who only played 10 years and essentially retired from the game because Detroit wasn't going to let him go nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's almost like what we said yesterday about Sean Taylor and a couple of these players. If they were in different situations, or we may be talking about them in a different light, like Calvin Johnson, if he was actually given the option to go somewhere else instead of being held down by Detroit.
Right.
Because now the proof's in the pudding. Detroit let Matt go, and he wins the Super Bowl the next year. So it's like it's not out of the realm to think, hey, if Detroit had let these guys go somewhere else, they may be even better, or they win championships and are even better.
And Detroit's too they got their heads so like they're too much into their own shit. Where they're like, no, we don't want that happening. We don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't win with us, you ain't gonna win with nobody. You ain't going nowhere, motherfucker.
That's just the way they are. I mean, I think now it's changing. The front office is changing. We've discussed ownership in the past weeks.
Yeah.
But I think the front office and the coaching staffs have changed. Did you see Dan Campbell the first day of training camp?
No.
Dude, he was fucking doing drills with him. He's out there doing up downs, the chop, drop down, pick yourself back up, with the fucking players. Like, he's just as, because he was a former player too as well. He's so in love with the game and just, the camaraderie in the team that he's out there changing the culture for Detroit. So I expect a really good year. Not 12, not 10, not 9. A solid year from last year to this year for Detroit. Especially that kid DeAndre Swift. He's going to be real big. He had a pretty good year last year. He's going to have an even better year this year. He's quick, agile. He has that potential for a one cut and see ya.
Yeah. We'll see where Detroit goes, but yeah. I mean,
well, Hard Knocks, I think was the 8th, I said?
That's when it starts?
Yeah, I believe it starts the 8th. Now, if you guys are don't watch NFL Network, maybe sometimes throw it on for yourself. They're going through all the training camps. So every 15 minutes they change camp. They go to different camps. And they have different people there interviewing different people. So you're getting a look at what camp's going like for certain players.
Yeah.
rookies and such like that. It's also they have really good fantasy advice as well, but their shows there you got to find the schedule in that for if you want to watch one of those shows or record it. But I think that's it for this week, guys. So we'll have more for you next Saturday and Sunday. Thanks for coming out.